to another episode of Your Way with Noe. My name is Noe, and today I'm very excited to have a special guest all the way from the Philippines, the content creator and a mental health advocate, Liliput. How are you?
Yes. Oh my God.
So Lily is a streamer. Well, I knew about her from Twitch, but she does more than that. She's a content creator and a mental health advocate, which is one of the I think more special things about her streams on Twitch, especially Mental Health Mondays, something
Yeah.
copyrighted. That's copyrighted right now. That she does her channel. Lily, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Here we go with the question. I told you this is going to be super hard to answer. Well, where do I start? My name is Lily. I'm from the Philippines, and like Noe said, I am a content creator, and yeah, I do a lot of things. Mostly, I do artworks. I do a lot of chibi art. I think some of my artworks are known in the Dota 2 community at least. And then I also do streaming sometimes, and I do what he just mentioned, the mental health Monday stream. So that's almost every Monday whenever I can. I do streams about mental health, and usually we do open sessions where I let people or chat ask about things about mental health or psychology, and then I will answer them as much as I can. So also I'm studying in graduate school at the University of the Philippines as a psychologist. So I'm still doing my MA psychology. I think I'm almost done. No, I'm still not. I mean, I'm still doing my internship. So yeah, I've done volunteer work last year during the start of the pandemic because we had a very long lockdown here in the Philippines, and they opened up a telepsychotherapy session. So I volunteered for that. I had quite a lot of clients. Then I talk to them over the phone or I text them, and then we talk about, quarantine and just, I mean, I think everyone has experienced how bad or lonely quarantine is. So that's a program from my university, and we offered it to the public as well. But yeah, so far I'm an artist. I'm a streamer. I am also a student of psychology. I'm studying clinical psychology to be specific. And yeah, I think that's it. I don't think I
um,
forgot anything. I'm a gamer too. Yeah.
and that's where I first discovered Lily was I personally play League of Legends, but I've always been curious about Dota, and she was one of the Dota streams that I tuned into to watch Dota
Oh
gameplay.
really?
Yeah.
Was it
Uh,
was it because of Dota? I don't remember.
yeah. Basically, it was not so much the mental health stuff came later on, but it was
Yeah,
first the
yeah.
Dota that I was like, oh, okay, this is cool.
I wasn't even
um,
a good Dota player. Still am not. Yeah.
what I guess we'll start from the beginning. When was like the first time you decided to create any sort of content, whether it was art or digital content, video content? Do you remember where you
Uh,
first? What was your first type of content you created?
I think it was art because like I said, I'm a gamer. I play
Mhm.
Dota 2, and I usually hang out in Dota 2 communities on Reddit. And then when I got my tablet, like the drawing tablet, and also I first got a phone, and then I drew there, and then I started posting it on Reddit, specifically our Dota 2, and then people started upvoting and it made me, because it's a form of validation. It made
Mhm.
me interested in drawing more and mining those points, internet points.
Who doesn't want to
Like,
have high karma?
yeah, of course. Yeah, karma is good. Yeah, so I kept doing it, but yeah, sometimes I don't do it. Sometimes I feel very inspired, because I also like reading about the lore in Dota 2. League of Legends also has lore, right? I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, yeah, I like reading about those from Wiki, and then my artwork will usually be based on that. I will make cute stuff usually, and mostly, well, all the time, just cute chibis for Dota 2. And then yes, those sweet karma. I love them. Yeah,
uh,
those,
is that so primarily with the Dota 2, did you ever venture out to other types of art from there?
other types of art, or
Like other genres, sorry, like different topics.
aside from Dota 2,
Hmm.
mostly just games. Well, I also do for Overwatch,
Hmm.
um, and anime characters. Yeah, depends on the stuff that I really just like watching, especially when I see very nice characters like in anime. I would draw them as chibis. And then lately, I also do Genshin, because Genshin is really big and the characters are so cute. The designs are so good, and I also want to draw them. And it's hard to. I know it's a gacha game, so it's hard to get the characters that you want. So I just draw them. So at least I have drawings of them.
You create
Yeah,
your own fan art for them. It's like, well, this is
yeah,
mine. Mm.
yes,
It's
yes.
crazy how Genshin has taken over the world.
True, true. A lot of
Um,
games. Yeah.
After that, when did you decide to create more digital content in the sense of video and streams? Like, when was the first day Lily decided to go live? Do you remember when that moment?
I don't remember, but I remember there was a time I was playing games at my friend's house, and then he lent me his gaming laptop, and I was like, "Yo, I wanna try streaming Overwatch," and I tried it on Facebook. It was really scuffed. Yeah, and then I also tried recording and stuff and editing, but I'm not really good at editing. It's just that when I did that before, um, yeah, especially with Dota 2. Dota 2 is pretty hard to edit, and you need a good like device for that. But my devices are not that good back then, so whenever I try, I just try to record and then edit, and then I end up not editing it at all. I mean, some of them are still on my YouTube. It's kind of I don't want to go back to them. That sort of stuff. And yeah, and then I think back in 2017, I went to a what's this? I tried go. I frequent a what do you call it? Internet cafe, a PC bang.
Mm.
Yeah. And then the internet is really good. The devices, the PCs are so good that you can actually stream there. And I tried that for a while. I did that. I started there, and then I was surprised that there are people who I met from other Discord servers who started supporting me. And then after a while of like saving up, I think it was months of that. I saved up from my own job, because I also have like a full time, unrelated job to psychology and gaming and art. Yeah.
Mhm.
So I saved up money, and then because I also have Patreon, so I also took the money from there and bought my own gaming laptop. And then after I got my own like um, stable internet at one of
Mhm.
my boarding houses, I also started streaming from home. And yeah, I try to do it more often now, especially during the pandemic. But yeah, it's on and off.
I bet
Not like
I bet those PC bang sessions were kind of expensive since streams usually last about 4 to like a little
Ooh.
longer.
Yeah, and then I also, because in the PC bank thingy, there's like a VIP section and a non-VIP section, and of course I
Oh.
don't want to be in the non-VIP section because you'll be like so like right next to each other. You don't want to.
Yeah.
So at least in the VIP section, there's only five of you, and there's actually like a real gaming chair and more high specs PCs and stuff. I think it's just a 40 pesos per hour, so that's under $1, I think. Yeah, and then you can get they have promos that, I mean, if you play for 4 hours, you get to pay less, something like that. 4 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, depends. Yeah, and I spend a lot of time there, and it's cool because you can also eat over there, which is fun. No
um
cameras though. I don't use cam back then.
mm, did I know for a lot of content creators it's weird once their real life kind of starts blend they start noticing about their digital life. So
Mm-hmm.
like does your family know or kind of have an idea of what you do?
Yeah, I talked to them.
Yeah.
There was one time I was streaming here, and then I was just doing my thing. Papa came home, and then sometimes he like like earlier he ran inside the room. He's just smiling, and the next day he was like, because I was streaming Mental Health Mondays. The first time I streamed right after I went back here. The
Mhm.
next day he was like, he told me he was watching. I was like, why? And he was teasing me because I had the blazer on, the white blazer, and it looked
Mhm.
like I'm a doctor, but I'm not. It's just that it's cold. I don't have anything else. I took it from my sister's closet. But yeah, they know. Yeah, I tell them. It's alright.
And
And I have to be quiet sometimes because it's too noisy.
but amongst all that, you've been able to create a great community. I'm in your Discord server myself, and it's such a nice community, and you've created and gathered all this amazing people
Mm-hmm.
that make some pretty dank memes. I get a good laugh in there too. Is there? Did you have a vision in mind when you started creating your community?
Okay, so in the words of Shiny, I will bring this up. No, Shiny is a K-pop group, but Minho has always said that the group reflects. I mean, the community reflects the group or the idol, and the idol reflects the community. So that's why they always call out Shawol's, the fandom, when they're being questionable, and they
Mhm.
always remind them not to fight and stuff like that, and just to be proper. And I always think that that is true even for like streamer communities. And and you can see that actually when with sometimes with streamers, you like the streamer, and then when you go to the community it's kind of weird chat, and then when you sorry weird chat is not the proper word. And then you realize that maybe the community is like that because it's either the streamer does not call out or does not enforce rules and stuff to them, and that's why it enables that kind of behavior, and I don't like that. So that's why if someone is being not acting properly in my community, I will always be the first one who will tell them, and you can always tell them in a way that is not demeaning to them, like it's still validating at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if really because if I don't want it to be like, if the community gets big and then someone's like, oh, they're from Lily's community, and then they're acting like idiots. I don't want them to be connected to me. I mean, I didn't teach you to be like this. You have to be proper at least, not like super. I mean,
They drop
there's
your
like a
emotes with toxic messages in other chats.
yeah, no, not like that. Please. I will ban them out. No tolerance for stuff like that. Always just telling them if they did something wrong and teach them how to be proper. Yeah, because sometimes people are not aware of how to act properly, and it's a matter
Mhm.
of educating them. Yeah, because different cultures and stuff, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, your community is very international. I'm always
yeah.
impressed, like hearing from where everybody is. Um, from there, you go to educating your community. When did you decide to implement the mental health Mondays? When did that idea popped into you? Do you have time frame or like the story behind that?
I don't remember why I did that. I think um I don't remember exactly, but I think like every time because I put down on my about section that I'm studying psychology and stuff, and sometimes I do. There was one time I think I wanted to study, and at the same time I was too bored to study on my own, so I was like, let's stream studying. And then I ended up teaching chat about it, and then I realized because a lot of people when they figure out that I'm from psychology, I mean psychology students would get this a lot. They
Mhm.
always ask you about mental health, and then they tell you their life stories and stuff like that, and it's to me when I stream randomly, it's okay when people do that. It's just that I realize it would be better if there's a specific time for that, like an allotted time for mental health talks. And so I decided to just make it into just one day at least, once a week, once every 2 weeks. Yeah, because it's very tiring. Yeah.
Yeah, I could see the how it could be a toll because um I think it's become even more common now with the pandemic and the lockdowns that people need a place to vent out. And
Yeah.
even before all this, streamers and their communities were kind of a place, one of the only places where a lot of people felt safe to become, speak about what's going on.
Yeah.
And once they find out that you are a psychologist, they're like, oh, double bonus.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, you see this reaction because that's just how it is as a psychology student. People will always go to you and then ask you stuff about that, and it gets tiring. And actually, even before I was in psychology, I people tend to like drift towards me and ask me stuff, and that's why I went to psychology to learn how to put down my boundaries and stuff like that, and then how to properly help people as well. But yeah, yeah.
um, is it difficult dealing? I know you always have set very specific standards about the questions that people can ask during mental health Mondays and what they could
Mm-hmm.
send you privately. Um, is do you apply? You basically apply what you learn in school, right? About boundary setting,
Mm-hmm.
and does that
Yeah.
translate well to content creators like yourself?
For me, what is this? So during Mental Health Mondays, I just let people ask whatever they want because that's like it's called an open session. Unless I'm doing like specific topics, like just last Monday we had about how to analyze behavior. So
Mhm.
mostly the questions will be about that. But when we do open sessions, they are free to ask anything. Um, the most difficult one is in when somebody this was just lately they started talking about suicide. Sorry, trigger warning. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, and then even I was surprised with that. But yeah, it really kicks in what I learned from uni, how to handle those things. And it's hard because you don't know this person. At the same time, you can take them as a joke or like they're fooling around. You gotta be serious about those things. About boundaries, yeah, people DM me, and that's always been my problem for a very long time now, and it's really tiring. But yeah, lately I try to, because so what I do lately now is I tell them like I'm glad, I let them vent. I don't
Mhm.
respond ASAP, because whenever you respond quickly and then you give them what they were needing, you're kind of enabling that DMing behavior. So yeah, so I let it. I gave it some time. Usually, I give it some time, and then usually they message afterwards that they're feeling okay. That's a common thing. And then I go, and then when the period has like settle down, I will go to them and I will tell them that I wasn't able to respond to this, and thank you for sharing. And I'm glad that you're okay. I don't even apologize for not responding, because it's not something that you need to like apologize for. I think other people might find this relatable as well, not just content creators, not just
Mhm.
streamers or psych students. A lot of people, yeah, so unless it's like super duper high risk, like, self harm and stuff like that, I don't really do it. There's no urgency, and I'm not required to tell them, because that's why we also have a specific channel in my
Mhm.
Discord server for mental health questions and stuff. And it's easier for me to, what's this? To have a designated channel for that, so that it's not just me who can talk to people, other people can also drop by and then give them advice and then let them vent and talk to them, validate them, all those things. So it's not me, because I'm also very busy with a lot of stuff. Yeah. I have a full-time job and all that, and studying. So it's just something that I need to like remind people a lot. And I think they understand it as well, my community. That's why we have the channel for that, so no need to DM me. Yes.
Obviously, your followers and viewers have come to you for advice, but do other content creators come to you for advice when it comes to from someone from their community DMing them, like, "Hey, Lily,
Oh,
this follower or
no,
this."
not really. I don't think so. Yeah, because I don't really hang out around in a lot of servers. And one server is like is a super big streamer, and he doesn't really talk to me. So know him. He doesn't know me. Stuff like that. We don't have that kind of like relationship. Other streamer, there's another streamer that smaller community, and she can handle it herself, so she doesn't
Oh,
need
that's
to
good.
like talk to me. And she has other like small groups for that stuff. But yeah, no, not much actually. I think that's my problem. I don't network too much. I think I'm tired. Yeah.
Yeah, adulting gets in the way of a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
When it comes to gaming specifically, I feel like a lot of people only bring up gaming when it comes to the negative aspects of it, and I think they mostly gear towards the violence psychology
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to gaming. But there's other problems that I know you've touched on your stream when it comes to maybe addiction and uh, engagement within, in the teams, and
Mm-hmm.
toxicity. Uh,
Yeah. Those are the two. Yeah.
do you
I
think
mean, uh-huh.
do you think that psychology has to create a unique analysis when it comes to gaming because of how new it is in the point of history?
There's a lot of like psych studies about it. There are so many studies about how it leads to violence. There are so many studies saying no, it doesn't, and that's the beauty of research. They're all fighting, and it's fun. Um, but yeah, there's actually a lot of studies, and that's good. And recently, I think was it 2019, 2020 when they added internet gaming addiction in the WHO list of disorders, and that created like a huge uproar. So many people were angry about that and stuff. So it's a very huge subject, and there's a lot of studies about it. Like I'm trying to do my own theses regarding that, but yeah, I've done several related literature actually, um, and there's still so many articles that are being published, and I haven't checked it since last year, I think. But yeah, so many interesting stuff about it. Mm.
The research is fresh. Is it
Yeah, very.
is it a little hard for you to analyze it objectively since you are a gamer?
Not really, because I mean, the beauty of my university is that we are very research focused, and I also love doing research. I love quantitative mostly, and also qualitative. So I actually even before I was, I mean, even because I didn't say this, but my undergrad is library and information studies. So that gives me um the what's this
Analytical point?
yeah, and then that's where I mostly learned about how to find good references, research resources. So I'm really good at research, I would say. So even though I'm a gamer, I can be quite objective about it because my research base is pretty much solid. Yeah.
What are some of your inspirations when it comes to helping mental health in the gaming communities? Like people or particular media outlets that you look up to who are doing similar work compared with
Fit gaming. I think the biggest one lately would be Dr. K, Healthy Gamer, because he's an actual psychiatrist and he does interviews with gamers and streamers, and he knows his thing. And he has actually studied video game addiction more than I did. So I very rarely look up to people because, like I said, I have very high standards, especially when you do lots of research. I researched them a lot. When he was new, Healthy Gamer, I had to like look through all his about sections, like who is this person? Is he like um is he someone that you can trust with things like this? So yeah, I haven't found anybody else so far actually aside from him, and it's because I think it's a hard topic to pursue, and even me, I don't really. That's why there's a lot of disclaimers when I do my mental health stuff. Yeah. Mm.
when it comes to the mental health Mondays, you already explained the format of both open table and prepared lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is your criteria when it comes to picking I guess the topic for the more prepared lessons or sessions?
Oh.
Picking a topic or picking your slide for that.
Mm. Oh, yeah, that reminds. I think I remember now why I started it. Uh, yeah. So I think I started first with something related to interpersonal effectiveness. So how to talk to people, how to relate to people, how to say no, how to ask for stuff, things like that in an effective way. And I learned that from my DBT classes. DBT is dialectical behavior therapy. It's one form of therapy, and if anybody is familiar, it's sort of like cognitive behavior therapy, but not. So, stuff like that. Because in therapy, there's a lot of orientations. Like you have psychodynamic, cognitive, and DBT is something that I really like doing because it they have this huge book with skills handouts and worksheets. So I mostly follow that, and then I teach that to students to my students to my
Viewers.
chat. I just call them students. Oh no. No, I mean, yeah. Um, there. I started with that. I think because there was one time there's this, sorry, trigger warning again, a really big issue in the Dota 2 community, specifically the personalities, like the known Dota 2 personalities. So many um, sexual harassment cases or issues regard in that group, and then it sparked a lot of like debates on Reddit, and people started. I mean, they don't really understand much about it, so I tried teaching some stuff because I realized um, there are times when someone who is being forward with a girl and they just wanted to ask for stuff, or they took it in a wrong way. They misunderstood what the other party is saying. Yeah, sometimes I feel like they did that not because they lack the skill for it or the understanding. So I thought it would be cool to try to teach chat and discuss it with my chat about what could have been done at this situation without really judging any of the individuals involved. So yeah,
Mhm.
it started with that. Usually it's because of an issue, and then I went on and on. And then when I started with interpersonal effectiveness, I realized I should have done mindfulness first because that's usually how you do DBT. You start with
Oh,
mindfulness.
okay.
Yeah. And then I went to the mindfulness part. And then after a while, yeah, I finally got to analyzing behavior. But yeah, it depends on um, what to what I think is apt for the situation, like current issues. And then sometimes I also ask people in my community which one would they like to hear first, and then I will do that first. Yeah.
Do you seem to see a reoccurring topic that people mention that you have at some point uh, already covered, and maybe this person's new to your community and they ask for a specific topic, and just you keep a mental log in your head. They're like, oh, people always bring up this when it comes in your sessions.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that happens a lot. Like I'm talking about something, and then they ask about something that I have discussed before. Although not, I don't remember which one is it.
Oh.
And now I realize I need to save those VODs and upload it on YouTube because I didn't do it actively before. I think it was I also felt like the usual imposter syndrome. I didn't
Mhm.
feel that I did it correctly back then, so maybe I'll do another like talk about it again since these are cool to review over and over again anyway. But yeah, there are times when people ask for stuff that I have discussed before, and sometimes when I have the time, I will tell them about it, but in a very concise way. Yeah.
um, and I know you're out there fighting the good fight when it comes to gaming, making better gamers out of and better humans out of everyone out there. Um, do you happen to see a specific problem that's not being addressed currently within gaming communities?
Toxicity in the Dota 2 community, yes.
That toxicity
Yeah,
in any community, league,
actually, really.
CS:GO,
Oh my
anything.
god. Let's just play Minecraft.
Oh,
Stardew.
I think you'd be surprised about like Minecraft and toxicity.
Oh, really? Oh, well,
Yeah.
there was one creeper at least in our server, but I do understand why the kid went like that. But yeah, it's mostly the toxicity, and yeah, it's a hard issue. That's why I don't really play Dota 2. Aside from it's a waste of time for me now because my hands hurt a lot. So instead of playing Dota, I'll just um do make my art and then make money out of it. Better productive stuff. Yeah, it's not fun anymore. It's toxic. You're prone to being sexually harassed in your game. So it depends. Like sometimes they're like overly excited that there's a girl when they shouldn't be because girls exist in this world anyway. Yeah, and in the gaming community. But yeah, that's something. And I don't really. I think Valve, the the company
Developers.
that made Dota 2, yeah, they do stuff, and I feel like it's still not enough. And the community itself, I mean, at least when I see Reddit posts, they're
Hmm.
in denial about it. Usually, when you have toxic stuff like that, there'll be, and usually it's about sexual harassment, like sexually harassing girls in games. They'll be like, but that's just trash talk. Everybody gets trash talk. Yeah, and then like it's they just accept it as it is, and that means that it's okay when it shouldn't be okay. Because the
Hmm.
world isn't that toxic. Probably,
You
usually
don't
it's just the
go
case. Yeah.
that type of language
Um.
would translate in the world.
Mhm.
Um, when it comes to girls in gaming, uh, I know they have it much harder just
Mhm.
because how male dominant gaming is. Is that I think is that a topic that you have to reiterate a lot when it comes to your mental health sessions?
Oh, interesting thing. Nobody really talks about that that much. Like, I think it's because my community is also chill with girls. They're like they know girls exist, and there's nothing new about that. Um. Yeah, it's just how do you say this? Yeah, we don't really talk much about that on my streams, or nobody debates about it because we all know it's a thing. But when I read it on Reddit and stuff, like on other
Hmm.
communities, they feel like there's less girls, possibly because the communities are not the type that attracts girls because, they're questionable or they're doing stuff that wards the girls away. But I've seen studies that there's mostly like 50-50 um, in the gaming communities. It just depends what type of games, I think. Although I don't remember much about that. But yeah.
Yeah, but it's different between like a Dota and Animal Crossing. The
Yeah,
ratios are
possibly. Yeah.
yeah.
I think Animal Crossing would be a bit more 50-50 or higher girls. I don't know. I haven't seen that. That's
Mhm.
why, I would Google right now if I could, but I don't say stuff without confirming them.
That's
So
a very
everyone,
smart.
please Google.
Always do your
It's,
research.
yeah, I don't, because especially when you do streams like this, I don't
Mhm.
want to give out wrong information. So I also have that kind of disclaimer that I'm still studying, and sometimes when you have questions and I don't know the answer, I will try to look for the answer. If I don't really find it, then I will not. I will tell you I'm not sure, and I'm not. And then just I will not go into that unless
Mhm.
I am quite sure about what I'm saying. So yeah, Google at least.
I think that's one of the main reasons why you've built a great community and a community that trusts you with these type of issues because you won't guide them in the wrong direction. Have you ever gotten, uh, I think you might have mentioned it earlier, but a message where someone, you know, um, thanked you uh, for your mental health sessions, or like
Yeah,
people
yeah.
you've seen results from it?
Results from it? I'm
I
not
wouldn't say
sure.
results is the correct term to use. Sorry, but there's been feedback given. I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, am I imagining it? But no, I mean, at least even when I actually, like I said, I'm a quantitative person. I love my quantitative data, and every time I stream, I look at stream stats, right, on
Mhm.
Twitch, and then I see more people watching during Mondays. Like, okay, more people chatting during Monday. So that's kind of saying that there are more people who go to my stream who are interested in those kinds of topics. They talk more because it's something that is relatable to them. It informs them, yeah,
Mhm.
and then it helps them rant out if they ever need to rant. And then people, yeah, they say things as well for those stuff. And I also, yeah, those stuff.
I've actually learned quite a few things for myself watching your streams. One of the
Like
biggest
what?
ones,
Mm-hmm.
one of the best ones I always remember is the statement of a fact is not a judgment, but judgment is often attached to the statement of a fact. Uh,
Oh, you remember
and
that? I
yeah,
don't
and
remember
that
that. Oh, so long ago.
that was
Oh,
so
that's so
long ago, but that was one that just stuck to me, and I whenever I look at certain problems or issues, it's something that I always remember. And especially when I talk to and interact with people when it comes to sensitive topics or specific language, I always remember that. I remember that
true.
lesson.
Nice, nice. What else? What do you remember from Dear Man? Give fast. Sorry, I'm
Okay,
turning to you
I'm not a A plus student. I'm B minus. I'll say that I'm a B minus
now.
student.
But yeah, what's a nice
What
takeaway? Mm-hmm.
What are your hopes in the future to take your mental health? Would you like to keep it how it is, or would you like to do maybe a little more with it?
Um, yeah, I want to finish my degree, so I feel like I have the right to do this. Sometimes I feel like I don't because I
Mhm.
haven't finished it yet. Although I remind myself, I I'm still learning, and even my professors who have their degrees or PhD, they're still continuously learning, and still they're teaching us. So that's why I'm very careful about what I say. I always study as much as I could. And then if I'm not sure about what to say, I will Google. If I can't find the answer in Google, I will tell them I cannot find it. Maybe later, stuff like that. But yeah, and as for the stream, I want to try keeping it as it is, I think. For now, I still need to be consistent about it because, as you know, I don't really do it a lot often. I tried doing it every week on Mondays, but it's not feasible, especially when something comes out from work or um, uni or life in general. So I end up not doing it all the time. But yeah, my goal is to maybe do it every other week at least. So that's the goal. It's for me to be more consistent. Yeah.
um, I know you mentioned you did voluntary work earlier. Have any of your clients just happened to run into your stream?
No, thank God, no, because it's weird. I don't. What's this? I don't really stay in touch with them. We're not allowed to.
Mhm.
Yeah, because in the volunteer work, it's just 3 sessions. It's just a tiny thing to do, but it's a lot for them. Yeah, a lot for me as well. 3 sessions is a lot. But yeah, no, I don't. Some I did someone ever ask me? No, I don't think so. No, and thankfully they haven't found me because at least my name is different from my real name. So
Mhm.
yes.
Do you feel like in the future, will it be? I guess I feel when it comes to higher studies, there's a little bit of judgment when it comes to people with some type of digital presence,
Mm-hmm.
because in the professional life, you know, you have your professional face, professional persona, and then you have your digital persona. Do you think in the future, you know, the is this will affect you essentially?
Yeah. So people will find my OnlyFans and stuff like that. No, not really. I don't have one. No, no. Even if someone has an OnlyFans and they have like a professional life, I don't care about it. I mean, that's what they want to do, and I understand if they have that kind of like different outlet for creative outputs. But yeah, I don't. Perhaps they will find me, and I think about that as well. That's why I try to make my online presence as neat as possible. And if ever I don't, um, yeah, my Twitter, it's just shiny, shiny and rants about politics and stuff. Yeah, I think it's something that you need to think about when you want to be a professional. You have to take care of your digital persona because I think people what employers would look at that, they will find that. Yeah, and it's because in this world right now there's pretty much like the online and offline world is there's like a big blur between it, and you gotta just take care about both stuff. At the same time, I'm thinking it could be something that I can use for my own good. Like if I have a good standing on the internet, my Reddit karma, maybe that will translate with my professional real life stuff.
If you could handle
Yeah.
Reddit comments, you could handle pretty much anything. I think.
Yeah.
I think one of the most hardest times I have is like my grammar checks because people will just disregard your entire comment if you have one
Uh,
grammar mistake.
but, but when they do that, it's because they have run out of things to say about your argument. So at that point, probably you are winning. Good, that's what I do. Aside from grammar, when people start attacking you, like you yourself and not the topic or the argument at hand, perhaps it's because they are losing the discussion. So that's what I think about it. Yeah.
Is there any, I guess, real quick, any best practice to have or rules to remember for anyone listening who's a gamer when interacting in the digital world, in the gaming world, to be
Oh,
a better gamer, a healthier gamer, a healthier
yeah.
gamer?
I think being mindful is important, and that is why mindfulness is supposed to be the first topic that I should have discussed, and I probably should discuss this again because this is very important. First. The person has to be self-aware about what they're doing, because if you're not aware of how angry you are and how often you lash out to your teammates when you're angry, then you won't be able to change your behavior. So that um, change starts with awareness and acceptance before you actually problem solve a problem like yourself or your behavior. So being mindful about what you say online, what you do, and then sometimes or after your game, you look back into the game, you try to analyze what happened. Like, why did I shout at my teammate? Is it because they bought the wrong item, or is it because I was losing my lane and I had to blame someone for it? So, yeah, it's just that sometimes you realize tiny inconveniences will make you rage. And that's why being mindful is something that is very helpful in keeping you from raging in your games, hurting your friends or random strangers on the internet, or and also hurting yourself. And sometimes when you feel like you're raging too much, it's a good time to, you know,
Step
take a
away.
break. Yeah, because that's how it is as well. When you're feeling highly emotional about something or being angry at your games, it's good to take a step back and then assess the situation before going on another game again and then losing in the end, and then you're gonna just get angry again. Yeah. So it's not gonna help you as well in the long term.
Will we see Dr. Lily in the future?
I
Will
actually
there?
want that. Yeah, but a PhD perhaps. Yeah, I will never go into med school. It's a lot of time for me, and I really like research. So PhD is a way, and possibly teaching. I think about it, and I do enjoy teaching people. It's fun. Although I would say when, because in uni you have to do reports and stuff like in
Mhm.
class. I used to be very anxious about that. I'm really scared, and that's why I also started these streams, mental health streams. See, it's all coming back to me now, right? um, yeah, it's like um it's giving me that experience. It's something that I'm scared on doing, like reporting in class, teaching class about something, feeling like you're not good enough to teach these materials. And Mental Health Mondays is a way for me to overcome that fear. And I feel like it's getting better because when I first started it, I have slides, right? And then you have notes on your slides. I used to have so many notes on my slides. And I even practice it before my streams. And
Oh,
now I
really?
just do my slides, add some notes, and then YOLO. Because it's starting to become it's getting easier for me because this is what I always say in my streams as well. These are all skills in life, and at first it's really hard to do and it's scary to do, but and the more you practice it, the easier it gets. And yeah, and then later on you won't really think much about it, you won't get anxious about it because you're used to doing it. So that is something that has helped me. And even if I go to, maybe if I go back to uni during like face-to-face classes, I wouldn't be like so scared on talking compared to when I was a freshie in grad school, and I would be like, "Ugh, I don't want to recite." Yeah, it's so scary. Yeah.
Well, we're gonna end it on that note. I want to
Yes.
thank Lily for being on the show. Lily, you want to shout out your all your medias and where people can find you and follow
There's
you?
so many of that. I don't know. Wait. Well, primarily I do a lot of wait, I don't know where to start again. Let's go to Twitch first.
Okay.
Twitch.tv/Liliput for my streams. I do Mental Health Monday streams on Mondays. What else do I do? Sometimes I stream art, just chatting. What else do I do? Do I do games? I don't do games lately because my laptop is being I almost said I almost said weird champ again. I'm sorry for the non-Twitch viewers. And then,
By the way,
who
Weird
else?
Champ is just basically like it's being weird
Yeah,
for our
yeah,
non-Twitch fluent people.
yeah. This is an education podcast now. What's this gamer lingo?
Gamer
What
lingo.
else? I have an Instagram for my art. It's definitely Liliput, and that is because Liliput is taken already. So I think, yeah. What else do I have? I don't want to show my Twitter. If you guys like shiny, perhaps, yep. Yeah. Um, Instagram, Twitch, Discord. No, but the Discord is on Twitch. Actually, if
Um,
you go to my Twitch channel, everything is there. Oh, Patreon. Yeah, Patreon. Patreon for more artworks. Yep. That's it, actually.
Make sure to check her out on Twitch. Um, Thank you so much for being on the show, Lily. It was a really pleasure talking to you.
Actually, you did 1 hour, huh? More than?
Yeah,
Oh, no. Actually, 1 hour. Yeah. Should I
yeah,
say
rather than
Poggies?
oh yeah, Poggies. I was recently teaching my coworkers about the word sus that has become popular because of Among Us. So,
Oh,
so
yeah, Among
they were
Us.
asking, "What is sus?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sus means that you're being suspicious." They're like, "Oh," and I'm like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
Blame us, the gamers, for that. Well, thank you so much for
Oh,
being on the show. And thank you to the listener for listening to this episode of Your Way with No Way. Just a reminder, this episode will be available on all major podcast streaming platforms such as Spotify, Amazon Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and anywhere else that you would like to stream it. There will also be a video version available on YouTube at a later date after the release. You, you guys can follow me at Yosoi Noe on Instagram and Twitter. And I recently became more um, dedicated to my Twitch because people were asking me to talk because they
oh,
wanted to discuss topics of the podcast live with me. So you guys can do that on Twitch. Um, Thank you so much for being on the show. My name is Noe, and this has been Liliput's Way. Thank you.
yay. Thank you.